Does this sound familiar to you? Not finishing what you started, putting everything off until the last minute, having trouble concentrating? How often do you not have time to do what you've planned? Perhaps you stay late at school or work, struggling to find time for hobbies, rest, and basically, for life. If you find yourself dealing with any of these issues, it means you may be having problems with focus and discipline. Hey, you're watching Wisey, and today we're going to talk about the top 7 tips that will help you to become more focused. Watch the video until the end, and you'll find out what you need to do to improvise your discipline. Tip number 1. Personal time for effectiveness. The first step is to determine your most effective hours. In fact, understanding yourself on a deeper level is a much shorter way to developing a better discipline than starting with hard limits and strict schedules. Thus, first of all, you must understand what time of day you're at your most effective. The healthy state of your body and brain is influenced by circadian rhythms, or to put it simply, the 24-hour cycles that are part of your internal clock. This is why it can be so difficult for some of us to get up early. At the same time, you probably know people who seem to be early risers and have no problem waking up at 5 in the morning. Or maybe it's the other way around for you, and your partner is an owl, while you're an early bird. Either way, circadian rhythms affect us both when we're awake and when we sleep. Moreover, one of the main cognitive processes that are regulated by these rhythms is concentration, which is essential for discipline. So even though we cannot change biological processes, it's still possible to understand them better, adjust to them, and use them to our advantage to get the most out of our day. Tip number 2. Regular physical activity. Next on our list is regular physical activity. In addition to the fact that sports help improve physical health, preventing various diseases, it also reduces the symptoms of anxiety and depression, and even promotes brain function. Also, regular physical activity can become a great exercise in discipline. And the good news is that you don't have to go to the gym all the time. You can choose any activity you like: swimming, jogging, yoga, morning exercises, cycling, outdoor activities, or games. Various hormones, such as dopamine, serotonin, cortisol, and adrenaline, are produced during physical activity, helping improve various cognitive functions. For example, testosterone is responsible for optimism, maintaining concentration, and logical thinking. These elements are necessary for developing a certain degree of discipline. Tip number 3. Start with baby steps. Have you noticed how difficult it is to start a new task that seems big and scary? Yes, we all set big ambitious goals for ourselves from time to time, such as learning a new language in 2 months or losing 10 pounds in 3 weeks. So, in order not to drown in a huge task, it's necessary to use the system of baby steps. In other words, if we divide a large cake into smaller pieces, it'll be easier to eat. For example, you need to divide your plans into subtasks to learn a new language. Today, I will learn 1 grammar rule and 20 new words. And tomorrow I will learn how to conjugate verbs and read a new text. Dividing big goals into small missions allows you to see more details, and at the same time, the tasks stop seeming as scary as they were initially. Thus, instead of starting too much stuff and abandoning your projects too soon, try to work on your continuous improvement. A smooth journey toward getting better is a much more practical solution. Now, time for our Wisey fact of the day. Have you ever heard people say that it only takes 21 days to build a habit? That would be incredible, but unfortunately, it's not true. Depending on the chosen skill, it can take up to 18 days. Moreover, some studies from the UK show even more shocking figures, claiming it takes 66 days for a new habit to form and 254 days to strengthen. Now, back to our list. Discipline tip number 4. Take a break. Many people mistakenly believe that to become more disciplined, they must work harder. No, this is not entirely true. In fact, your lack of focus may indicate that you're overworked and fatigued. Therefore, taking breaks is a crucial part of accomplishing any task. We recommend a well-known time management system called the Pomodoro method. It increases work efficiency and reduces time costs through deeper concentration and shorter breaks. And it's super simple to use. First, you work for 25 minutes, and then rest for 5 minutes. The logic behind this method is that it's easier to finish tasks quickly within 1 day, without stretching them out over the course of a week. Tip number 5. Celebrate small wins. When was the last time you rewarded yourself for an achievement? If you want to improve your discipline, you must praise and celebrate your small victories. This tip is particularly important for perfectionists and people who tend to be self-critical. Did you know that acknowledging small victories helps us track how far we've come from point A to our desired point B? Interestingly, this kind of positive reinforcement is also part of developing self-love. And there's a psychological explanation behind this. When you reward yourself, your brain releases chemicals that are responsible for feelings of happiness and pride. By creating this reward chain, you can find the strength to move on, find new energy, and become motivated to achieve even more. Now, it's time to switch it up a little with today's quiz. Do you know what the maximum concentration retention time for an average adult is? Take a guess. A. 15 minutes. B. 90 minutes. C. 120 minutes. The correct answer is B. 90 minutes. According to research done back in the 90s, humans can concentrate for 90 minutes, after which we need at least a 15-minute break. But of course, every human is unique, which brings us to our next tip. Number 6. What works for you? Many people blindly collect self-help tips and business literature to achieve higher concentration and discipline. However, all those top lists, guides, and tips have never been and never will be universal. The best option is to try and see which ones work for you. Perhaps having a role model motivates you. Then choose an example of a disciplined person and start building new habits that will help you get closer to this. If the book, The Miracle Morning, doesn't work for you, perhaps the philosophy of Kaizen or Ikigai will do the trick. You have to understand that best-selling books contain tips that work for some and are utterly useless for others. Therefore, choosing methods that suit you personally will help you improve your discipline on your own terms. Number 7. Single tasking. It's time to dispel one of the biggest myths of the century. The truth is that single tasking is more productive and efficient than multitasking. It isn't easy to maintain the same level of concentration while focusing on several things simultaneously. Perhaps in some situations, it can be justified by a high workload, but in reality, multitasking often has a negative effect on discipline. Our brain needs time to readjust from one process to another. This means that if you are trying to keep up with 2 tasks, your mind becomes restless, constantly trying to switch focus. Doing one mission at one period of time saves your strength and energy, lowers stress levels, and helps you stay more focused. Also, single tasking promotes self-discipline and allows you to ignore external distractions. Did you watch to the end and not get distracted? It seems to be the first step toward increasing concentration. We hope you found working tips that will help you improve your discipline. And don't forget about the importance of knowing your circadian rhythms, regular physical activity, and dividing tasks into subtasks. Also, take breaks, celebrate small victories, build a personal efficiency plan, and try to do one task at a time. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content about anything and everything. Thanks for watching. See you soon.